Yo, what is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to Safely to Shore, presented by Lighthouse Esports, the show where two idiots look towards an expert for guidance in the esports and content creation world. I'm Catnator3K, and joining me today is a special guest for the episode. What is going on?
Hi, I'm Mochalove. I'm going to be here today. And our third guest for the show can be found on his personal Twitter account, as well as over at Hitbox Heroes, where he helps aspiring Valorant talent find their next roster, or sometimes their girlfriend.
Sheesh, that is right. Our guest for today is none other than OxiWun. What's going on, brother?
Hey guys, how's it going? Camera on, right?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Nice.
What's going on, man? Good to have you on. I interact with you all the time on Twitter. But finally, I get to see you face to face, or as close to it as we can get right about now.
Yeah, as close as we're getting in this thing. Doing pretty good. Shaping up. I've applied to a couple of orgs. Hopefully,
okay.
I'm helping an org on the side. I don't know if I'm going to stay with them for a while. It's kind of under an NDA, so I can't really say much about it, though.
Gotcha. That's fair. So, I want to kick it off just with an introduction to you. We know you're applying to a couple orgs, but let's get a little deeper into it. What's your background in the space? How long have you been around? What have you been up to, other than just the Twitter page?
So, I actually started in Call of Duty back in MW3 on console. I didn't even play PC. I switched over to PC in 2015, I think.
Okay.
And then I actually played Dota for a while. I played 7K hours is what I have currently. I was really big into esports over there, and I wanted to help the scene. But the scene's already developed to the point where anyone that's new entering it can't really have an impact.
Okay.
I started watching CSGO about 2 years ago, and I really liked the players that I was interacting with, and I liked the overall atmosphere of it. So when Valorant came out, and I knew a lot of CSGO fans were going to switch over, I decided, hey, this is my time to make a mark. When the beta dropped, I farmed for keys for 3 hours straight and finally landed one.
Didn't we all?
I just turned myself out.
I did not. I didn't land one. I'm a little jealous.
Yeah, no, I was over at my friend's house at the time for a couple weeks, and me and her were both farming keys at the same time. She had 6 streams open, I had 6 streams open, it was crazy. I think my stream key that I got was from Shaz's stream.
Okay.
Shazam on Sentinels.
Okay. I don't know where I picked mine up. I think I got mine day 1 too, though.
I didn't get one at all. Y'all really coming for me.
You didn't get any?
No. I put my heart into those keys, and I didn't get a single one.
Man, that's rough. They were going for a week too, weren't they?
Yeah, they were going forever.
They started with a mass drop, and they trickled off after that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
How about you?
Okay, so after beta started, I was just hanging out in chats, and I noticed that a lot of players had issues finding teammates, partially because the fragmented social media aspect of it, and just the fact that there was 5 different names coming together.
Right.
So it was hard for players to interact with each other outside of the game, and possibility that you're going to land inside of the same server as a kid who's not on a team with you is minimal.
Okay. So do you run the Twitter account on your own?
Yeah. I think I gave access to a guy named Yazzie, but I didn't really expect him to voice my opinion on Valorant.
Gotcha.
Blink's a good. I talk to him a lot. So yeah, I was pretty much just doing it myself. I started out by making LFT pictures, looking for player or looking for a team kind of thing, and putting all their statistics that they had from their events. And then I don't know why I really put my all into it, but I felt like it was something that the scene needed.
Yeah,
with someone who could connect players better.
That's fair.
Yeah.
And then when VCT started up, I had my list at the time. The list was just to help players find players that didn't have a team, because I would keep track of who was on teams and who wasn't.
Right.
And I found out having all the tournament stats, which I already compiled, was actually a really good metric to use for how well they were going to place in the VCT event. So I think my current standing is 85.37% prediction rate.
Shoot.
It's kind of
Yeah.
clean.
Are you
It
betting?
is. I did a little bit. It was kind of, it was like penny bets though. It wasn't
Okay,
anything
okay.
huge. The main reason I did it was so that I would have like a way of showing like, hey, this is actually like me
Right, it works.
putting my money on the line to show that I know how to do this.
Fair.
Right.
Fair.
It's cool. But
Interesting.
oh, hey, Keg. I didn't even notice you.
So how many
The guy who
players
said
are,
the pink was hurting his eyes.
oh yeah, Max is
He's
hanging
not
around.
too. Yeah.
How many players are on the spreadsheet?
597 or 92. I
Shoot.
think I narrowed it down a
A
little
few
bit.
people. That's a few people right there.
Yeah, I have to keep it below 600 because if I go past that, it gets kind of laggy when you're trying to load it.
Oh, okay.
It's still a
Interesting.
little bit.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Do you know how
the
many?
thing's like 300,000 cells.
Shit. Do you know how many people use it, or like how many coaches use it?
I see people on it about once every 2 or 3 days. It's a lot of information to take in, so it's
Right.
hard for people to use it by themselves. That's one of that's why I offered the spreadsheet, or not the spreadsheet, the list instead. Because like the list I just make myself, and I'm so used to using the spreadsheet, I can do it pretty quick. Do like 10, 15 minutes.
Huh. How did the list work?
The list, they just ask like, hey, I need a sentinel, and then I go through and I can sort it pretty quick and find them sentinels that are teamless, and then just send them the list of like 15, 20 players left back.
Do you keep that? Do you keep who you visit private? Do you like? Have you built a couple of the tier 2 rosters?
It depends on how you look at it, because I don't really interact in depth with any of the rosters. I've helped Beast Coast a little bit, as well as Psycho uses the information, but he has access to it, and he helped me a little bit.
Gotcha.
Like, I had issues finding out who were IGLs, so I asked Psycho if he could help, and he put in like 10 or 15 of them for me.
Gotcha.
That's the hard part. Like, I have stats from VLR on there, so I asked permission to use that. And I have an algorithm that makes it so if a player plays an agent over 15%, it's automatically marked that they play that agent on my sheet.
Okay.
But I can't mark things like operators or IGLs. It's kind of impossible without knowledge from it. Actually, I don't know if you guys know who, what's their name, to run it back are.
Familiar.
They have
non-depth though.
It's an analytical platform. They keep stats just like VLR or Spike do. The cool thing about it is you can subscribe to it, and they'll give you in-depth stats. Like you can run a code that'll pull back whatever information you want.
Okay.
I did a code to help me figure out who was operators.
Okay. Interesting. Do you think the actual spreadsheet is something that teams would be interested in, like contracting? Like what you're talking about seems super valuable for an organization to have access to.
Yeah.
The spreadsheet's free to use. Like it's just $10 once. You get to keep it and use it as much as you want. The hardest part of it is getting people to understand how it works, because there's so much information. It's like which information is actually useful to me as a person on an organization trying to find players. It depends on aspects they're looking for too. Like if I want a guy who has good social media growth, or if I want a player who has insane stats, like what part do I look at to determine if they're viable or not from an organization?
Okay. What did you do with some of the teams you worked with? Was it the same sort of thing with analytics and throwing stuff together like that?
Yeah, it's pretty much just like, hey, these are 10 or 15 players that might be interested in working with you that are free agents right now, and I have pretty good stats as far as previous events go.
So is talent management what you want to do?
Yeah, I think so, actually. I talked to a agency a little bit ago. I am hesitant to be contracted an agent, though, because that means that I would have to limit my clients to people that actually pay for the service.
Right.
And like the fee is so minimal on my end that it's negligible for them. But if I sign with an agency, it's going to be like a percentage of their contract or something if they get signed.
Okay.
It's huge, the difference in the worth.
One more thing on that, on the actual agencies. If you sign with an agency to do talent acquisition, do you feel like that'll be a point of contention, like allowing other agencies to look at the spreadsheet still while you're contracted?
Personally, no. As far as it goes for the org that I sign with, yes. That's like the hard part. Is trying to figure out how to manage that aspect of it while helping an org in depth.
Right.
So I'm curious about like the spreadsheet. You say it's hard for people to work through it. I'm wondering if you
Yeah.
can kind of like talk us through it a little bit.
I have a. I don't know if you can pull up screenshots or anything, but like I have a very zoomed out picture of it that I'm gonna post. That's the picture that I send to people when they're asking about the information that I have on it, and I can like walk through individual sections for them. Here. So this is the picture.
My lord.
So
yeah. Yeah.
That's probably about 70 players. So that's not the whole thing.
If you're looking, if you're listening to the audio portion of this show, this man has sent a screenshot of it's one page of the spreadsheet, but there are so many colors. It looks like when they did the Reddit pixel art April Fool's Day thing. There's so much detail everywhere.
I was gonna say, if you've ever seen a Black Mini video, this is exactly what it looks like.
Have you ever seen the $1 Million webpage?
Yes.
That's the name of it. Okay. It's got all these different pixels that you can buy and like make your own art in one section of the page.
That's right here. I'm looking at it. I'm looking at it right now.
God.
Yeah. So the leftmost section is their previous teams and their current teams. If there is no team listed, that means their team was probably either that or it's a poke team.
Okay.
And the player name, I have an estimated amount, which is based off of all the other stats, just to like give an organist a idea of what they should be paid, so we don't end up with a situation where an org's paying too much for a player, or where a player doesn't know what their worth is.
Right.
I need to change that a little bit, but it's not too bad right now. Then I have all their VLR stats. After that, it's their social media handle. After the social media handle, it's their social media statistics. I did a 2-week, I took the stats for 1 week, I waited 3 weeks, and then I took the stats again. So I'd have a metric of growth.
Okay.
Then I have the amount of tournaments that they've played in. After that, there is, it's not shown on this. Oh wait, yeah, it is. It's just moved. After the amount of tournaments that they played in, there's their agent selection. That's the middle section right there. I don't know if you can see it too well.
Yeah.
So I list their main agent on the left side, and then in the middle of it is all of the different characters, and if they have over 15% played on the character.
Is that
so
the stuff from VLR?
Kind of. The VLR stats are all the way on the left. This is taken from VLR, but it's a custom algorithm that I made, and it like combines all of their agent selection for VLR and gives me a percentage back based off of what they picked.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if someone plays Cypher and Killjoy mainly, but they've played Raze 5 matches out of their 100, it's not going to count the Raze, but it'll count both Cypher and Killjoy.
Okay.
After that, it's just agent selections built into their roles. So like if they play Sentinel, if they play Sova, if they play Duelist, that way I can sort easier for me, honestly. Then I have their hard part, which is the IGLs and the ops. Right. The ops are mostly filled out. IGLs, I probably only have about 70% of what I should have.
Okay.
Then it's the rankings. I don't know if you've seen the rankings on the actual Hitbox Heroes account. I do like a weekly ranking of teams.
Yeah.
That's based off of 1 week of play. So if a team hasn't played that week, it doesn't get listed.
Okay.
They have to have played that week for it to count towards it. Then after that, it's pretty much just placements. There's probably about 2 more pages of this just of placements going to the right. But there's no point in showing it because it's just the same data over and over.
So from the rankings right, is all of that manual then?
Yeah. Most of this is manual, honestly. The major part
That's
that
what I was going to ask.
That's
VLR part.
crazy.
So, yeah, you do this all by hand? That's kind of whack.
That is kind of whack.
About half of it's probably by hand.
My lord. That's a lot of information in there.
Yeah.
Are you trying to turn that into something that you can use as a career? Because I feel like all that for $10 is ridiculous.
Right. I completely agree.
It's hard to figure out a way to impact the scene without causing a conflict of interest,
Right.
and also make it my career.
Right.
Like, I feel like the best way to do it is as a news outlet, but I don't really like writing too much. I'm okay with Twitter posts, but anything long form is not my thing.
Fair.
How much have you made from it so far? Out of curiosity.
If you can say.
800, not anything huge. Yeah. A lot of it is the agency that I was actually talking to. The agent who was the one who got me into it pays me $50 a month to get information. We call once every 2 weeks or so.
Okay. So like oh my god, hello. You'd say like the worth for you is the fact that you know how to navigate it.
Yeah, that's a big part of it. Yeah. I'm trying to teach people how to do it too. There's a link in the top left now that has a YouTube video. I was looking at coaches for the organization that I might be working with, and one of the things that I wanted them to do was narrow a list of 50 players down to 15, because we can't trial 50 players, obviously.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I want to have their information on what they think would be a good fit for the team in general, and have them actually trial for us.
Okay.
And we're going to bounce that off of me and the organization owner, so that we can get a understanding of how their coaching staff works, honestly.
Okay.
I was going to say, that seems like your business model right there. You come in, do that, then leave, and go to the next one.
Yeah, I told him up front I wasn't sure how long I was going to stay with the organization. So he knows, I'm still interested in other orgs, but I want to help as much as I can while I'm here.
Right. Gotcha. Do you have any interest of doing the same sort of thing for collegiate, or do you feel it's not at the level where it needs it yet?
Collegiate doesn't have enough information.
Fair.
Right. That's because they only have 6 or 7 tournaments that have gone on VLR.
Right.
Or not VLR, Wikipedia.
Mm-hmm.
If I'd had more in-depth on the information about it and their placements and everything, probably I could do it. That's one of the things I'm working on for the women's scene right now, is trying to get the stats and everything compiled for it. I'm pretty much just taking this as a blank slate and adding all of the female players.
Okay. What are your thoughts on the female and male scene being so separate right now, except for EG, who has a mixed roster?
Personally, I don't like it. I wish that the females would be integrated gradually in terms of having them on an actual team as opposed to completely separating it. It feels counterintuitive to me.
Right.
But I understand the reasoning for wanting it to be separated. You want to give the girls a chance where they don't have to compete against the guys, so that they can get their own spotlight, essentially.
Well, the way I look at it is, I think it's been good for giving opportunity, because I think a lot of wouldn't have even thought of picking up females. The only thing I don't like about it is the same sort of thing of they're so separate and they're not playing together, and it's almost causing more oppression towards females, because you look at any Game Changers Twitch chat and it's just them getting bashed. You're only getting this opportunity because you're a woman and stuff like that. What do you think the process of integrating it together looks like?
I think the best way to approach it would be to take the top female teams and put them in an event with mixed or all male teams.
Okay.
So you take the top 2 women's teams and you put them in an event with 16 or 14 other male teams and see how far they make it.
In some of the invitationals?
Yeah. Invitationals, VCS is a weekly one, so that's pretty easy to integrate.
Yeah.
They would have to pay for their spot, but everyone has to pay for their spot anyways. And I'm sure there's teams that would be down for hey, I want to see how far you can make it in VCS. Go play.
Right.
And they just pay the fee for them.
Well, we've seen female teams do pretty decent in opens. Cloud9 White was consistently doing well. I was wondering how they'll do without Katie.
Yeah, I think they placed 32nd last VCT.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's not too bad.
Do you have an opinion on the Gamers Arena stuff from yesterday? If you saw any of it?
I don't think I've seen any of it.
Okay, so like a brief rundown of the situation. It's a women's only event, but they're obviously allowing trans women to play because why would you not?
Yeah, that makes sense.
And their verification process right now is showing like a form of ID that shows your name change to verify that you've actually made a transition. You're not just like trolling, I guess. Then if you don't have that, the exception that they're willing to make is like medical records for a gender reassignment surgery.
I think it makes sense in terms of an organization looking at players who want those things. But as far as a tournament goes, you should be able to have like 10 or 15 females vouch for you. Like, hey, she is a female, we played with her before, that kind of thing. Like, I feel like that's another avenue that they could have taken to make it more approachable.
I think that's what a lot of people on Twitter are saying. A lot of them are upset because they think it's a breach of privacy, which I mean, it is. I mean, you have to show all of these records to prove. And I think, yeah, you could really just vouch with people in the community. The only problem I have with that is if you're a small team and you don't know anybody, then it's a little harder for you to get vouchers.
Right. Oh no, they have. Oh, you can go.
I'm really thinking, to be honest. It's hard to decipher that, especially because I'm a guy.
Yeah.
So it's like,
yeah, I feel the same way.
No matter what my opinion is, it's kind of null and void.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah. It's also hard to go against the grain of it in the first place.
As far as like the competitive aspect, I feel like you might cloud alphas play audio on the left side. I don't know. That's a good question. I think they do. Try talking.
Yo, are you good?
Yeah.
This man's.
I keep one ear out, anyways. My left ear just randomly stopped working yesterday for some reason.
Oh.
And then when I played the tone noise, like the Windows tone, it just started working again. And it's done it 4 or 5 times since then.
Interesting.
Back to the female scene, though. I feel like it's not a breach of privacy if you're signing someone to your organization because you need that information anyways most of the time.
Right.
Yeah. But tournament organizers shouldn't have that breach of privacy, honestly.
Right. Well, there's also a lot of talk about how it was just stupid in general because I don't feel like people would do that. But like 100%, I think people would. Like even in female CS tournaments, there were people. They required cams and people were wearing wigs. Like 100%, it will happen.
I remember that.
100% it will happen, but I don't know. I mean, it's hard to have.
There's always going to be that. Yeah.
Right.
I think it's tough because I don't know if esports is at the point where we can do that yet. I know actual like more traditional sports run like that.
Right.
They have requirements for hormone levels. You had to get hormone tests and turn those in. I don't think esports is there yet, personally.
I feel like esports is different because a lot of the reasoning behind regular sports having those policies is that it's a physical sport.
Right.
And esports is very much mental.
Right.
Like, you still have hand-eye coordination and stuff, but it's not as near to the extent that you use your mentality to improve and get better at the game.
Mm-hmm.
Like reaction time is the biggest, and females have shown that their reaction time is the same. It doesn't matter.
They're also typically smarter strat-wise. So.
Right. I think that goes back to just the separation in general. I think they're just separated right now because it's what people are used to.
Yep.
I just don't think people are ready. People aren't ready to watch that merge.
If the thing is, if you ask women about it, a lot of them are split on the issue themselves.
Right.
So it's hard to really have a side on the technicalities of it.
I think the issue with it really is that it's split in the first place, or like not even like the scene itself, the roster, like roster wise. I think it's the concept of having Cloud9 White and Cloud9 Blue is stupid, because I think if you integrate it together, you're looking at a better team in the first place. I don't know. It's like the same with anything. Like, you can take talented women and put them with talented men, and you have a better roster than splitting it.
The thing that it is right now, there's a few women that I would consider like top 20 tier, like able to play in mixed rosters for top 20, but it's minimal. It's only like 6 or 7 people.
Right.
Because then you have a situation where there's someone who's low immortal playing with Radiance on
Right.
a team that's signed, and you're supposed to
Right.
expect results from them. It's really good for publicity. Like if you want a mixed roster to say, "Hey, we have a girl on our team that's super
Right.
inclusive," it's a stunt that you can pull.
It's almost like a
but if
token.
you're not into it to improve them, it's kind of hindering to the scene, honestly, because you're just putting them on a pedestal that they can't compete with.
Right.
Yeah, there's definitely a few players that I feel could fit that aspect of I'm an actual girl player and I can play my role well in a top 16 team. Let me have a shot. But then if you ask the girls, a lot of the time they say, no, I want to help improve the female scene, so I'm going to stick with the team that's all females.
Right.
Or, hey, it's easier to get money in the scene as a female.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
play on a female team.
Yeah, right.
Which I totally understand.
No, absolutely. If you can get a contract, why would you not get a contract?
Yeah.
That's 100% true.
If you can get a higher contract as a female instead of playing on a mixed team, why not?
Yeah, also you don't have to worry about Twitch chat spamming, like blah blah blah. E.g. we'd be winning if we didn't have women, stuff like that.
Sure.
So
yeah.
So it's almost a lose-lose situation to try to actually grind the other way around, but I don't know.
I respect everyone
that's
trying.
I don't know if you
just giving it time, honestly.
Yeah, if you look at if you move out of the pro scene and start looking at some other stuff, like the college team at my school, our Overwatch team had 3 women on it. They were world class. We were really good at Overwatch.
Yeah, really high.
We were just a good mixed team.
Plus,
right. Right.
Yeah.
We're just a good mixed team, and sometimes you hit it, sometimes you don't. It's comes down to the players.
There has been progression in other esports too. Like I know I come from Dota, and there was a female team on an esport org. It's called Newbie. I think they closed doors because of controversy, but that's that's separate from this completely. She ended up backing me out, but it was because of her parents. It wasn't because of like feeling like Twitch chat was too mean to her or that she wasn't good enough or anything like that. She knew that she had the capability. Her parents were just strict and they wanted her to do stuff that wasn't esports.
That actually sucks a lot.
Yeah. I hope she comes back. She's young, so she's got a while.
Okay. I also think that it's going to take time just because I think there's a lot of, I don't know, maybe it sounds silly, but I think nowadays it's a lot more calm for women to actually play games. Like, there's a million female streamers now. Even at the middle school, high school, collegiate level, there's a lot more integration between women. I think like women haven't been as open to the idea of being able to game and just not get like harassed. Like they're getting harassed on Valorant still. And I think in a couple of years, it'll be much more normal. So we'll actually see women grow up around games. Like they're almost playing catch up, like getting into those core mechanics like way later into their life than a lot of boys who grow up like immediately onto the game. I think it's a rare case when women are. I don't know if that makes any sense.
Yeah, I think it depends a lot on how the publisher treats it as well. Because like I know Overwatch has a really good what's it called, like a ranking system for how nice you are to people. I forget what that is. Is that still in effect?
Yeah,
and is it helpful?
They still do commendations, stuff like that. I don't think it's really that helpful, just because I think like if you queue with somebody or just in general, you typically give somebody commends regardless. Kind of like in CS when they had commends, you just throw a smiley face on someone's account just to do it. Right. Yeah, my buddy Crane loves Overwatch. He's in chat right now. He just said the endorsement system is useless. So he also said there was a female player in Overwatch League up until last season when they didn't renew her contract. So
Guri, the frog lover.
Yeah, endorsement is a good idea. It just doesn't work because people use it. People do it anyway.
Right.
I think Riot's doing a good job with their report system. I'm a little 50-50 on the keeping track of people's audio, but I mean, it's what it is.
I think if they did it in a way where they only kept the audio if a report was submitted in the past week or something, that'd be something that I was open to.
Yeah.
But I feel like having the audio just constantly recorded is it's a breach of privacy, and it's also hard on the servers.
Yeah.
Like, you're going to compile so much audio files in the first month and a half. That's a huge investment on their part. I'm glad that they're doing it, but at the same time, it's like, it can't be sustainable.
I mean, that's the thing that everyone complains about, right? People be abusing the chat all the damn time. That's always the problem when it comes to any sport.
I've seen a lot of comments on the streamer mode aspect of it, and most people feel like you should be able to link your Twitch and only be able to use streamer mode if it detects that you're streaming.
I think that's a really
which I think would be a huge step towards at least making people less prone to being toxic because they can hide behind an agent name.
I think that actually makes a lot of sense. I haven't heard that, but it makes a lot of sense. I think
I've heard it from a couple of people, probably 10, 15 players. I brought it up.
Okay, interesting. I also think that, I don't know, I think I read the article about it. I think they are only pulling a certain amount of time between reports and audio. I don't think they're recording every piece. I could be wrong though.
That makes sense to me. I'd be okay with it if that's the case too. Like, if they're not recording me, if I'm not getting reported, there's no reason for me to be mad about it. Like, they're not recording my audio anyways, probably.
Yeah, I don't know. I could be wrong though, but I think they are doing what you suggested. So don't worry, they're not recording you. I promise.
I don't care if they're recording me, to be honest.
I don't care either.
Personally,
I got to Google Home. It's too late.
I know there's people that would though. Yeah, that's true.
So as someone
my phone's recording everything.
Yeah, that's actually facts.
Yep.
As somebody who talks to free agents all the time, I have opinions on it. What are your opinions on the actual free agent scene in Valorant right now?
There's tons of free agents. The hardest part is going to be getting 5 players that can work together properly. But if you look towards the top team right now, you could have 1 or 2 teams enter pretty easily and pick up players, as long as they're willing to work together.
Okay. I don't know. I'm super 50-50 on the free agent scene just because there's so many options. And I think like we see a million project rosters pop up every single week, and then they disband within a couple days just because they don't like even I feel like one piece missing in your roster is something that people don't take the time to actually work on. They just move on.
Yep. Yeah, there's a difference between like the player volatility of having your team break up after 2 weeks and just having free agents, because there's definitely free agents out there that are worth the shot trying to put players together. The hard part is going to be keeping them long enough for them to actually improve as a team.
Right.
The way that I look in consistency is over a 2-month period, and most teams only last 3 weeks.
Yeah.
So you can't really judge how good they are in that time period.
Do you think that free agents almost need even like a small org to just give them some structure to actually take the time to work on playing together? Or do you think project rosters like have the opportunity to be something like Slimy Boogerman, Elmer's Glue, all pretty consistent? They've been together.
It's a time commitment thing. Like, you need to have the faith in your teammates to stay more than 2 weeks on a roster. Otherwise, it's just a pug roster, and you should only play 1 or 2 events together. There's no point in sticking around. And like, what's the point of even practicing if you know you're going to leave anyways?
Right.
There is Spotlight, who does a lot for the community, and they have like 6 or 7 rosters that they paired up with. The way that they work is they actually take a manager and a coach, and they say, "Hey, here's 5 players. If you want to keep them, go for it. If not, you can just plug it out." And they've done pretty well. They have 5 or 6 rosters that have produced results.
Let me hit you with this on the topic of rosters. I don't know if you saw it today. It was like a couple hours ago. Xset just dropped We Did, or they benched him. They're being nice about it. They left him on the bench under contract until he finds another option. But they made it very obvious that he has to find another option.
Yeah, he made it very obvious himself. Just by the way that he's tweeting, you can tell, like, hey, I'm definitely looking for a team. I'm not going to come back to Xset. It's sad, but at the same time, I kind of get it. He performed the worst if I'm being honest, out of all the players. The thing I don't understand is if you're a top 8, top 4 team, you want that consistency in your roster to be able to make changes without actually switching pieces of it. Like if you're doing a strat wrong or if you're picking the wrong maps, it's easier than saying, hey, we're going to dump a player and get a new one.
Well, also he was flexing, and then once Viper became prominent in the meta, they put him onto the Viper. But also, he brings so much analytically to the roster. Like, he's by far their biggest player just in terms of like interactions, both on stream and on Twitter. And then I think they all vibed super well together. And they haven't been around for that insanely long either. I feel like it wouldn't be hard for them to just improve as a team.
I can actually look at this. Give me 1 second.
Blink, Tarek is not switching to Valorant. I'm so sorry to tell you this. He's baiting you. He's been baiting for months. He's not switching to Valorant. I'm so sorry.
The XSET core of Pure, Thuifo, and Aaron have been together since August of last year. And then this iteration of XSET was back in January. So they've been together for 4 months.
4 months.
If you're looking at it from that aspect, yeah, it's okay to make a player change. But they've improved with the results.
Right.
So I don't understand why.
So XSET's just
like
not
if your
that
team
big
is
of an
showing
org.
I would say they're decent sized.
They're
The
tier
owners,
100%.
yeah, I would say they're a solid tier 2 team, like in terms of organization size.
Mm-hmm.
But the roster that they had was tier 1. Like there's no ifs, ands, or buts about
Yeah,
that.
for where the scene is, 100%. I agree.
Yeah, they were a solid top 12 team, and they placed top 4 in VCS or VCT, didn't they?
I think so. Yeah, they made challenges, did they not?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they made challengers. The previous one, not even the most recurrent one. So then they had a free ride to the top 12.
Wait,
I don't remember the structure of
doesn't
that.
that mean they have at least like a decent amount of series points?
I don't know how the series points work. I don't think it's public, to be honest.
This thing is this format's so stupid. Like there's Masters, but then there's whatever, like championship final, whatever the hell it's called, at the very end of the year. Yeah, at the very end of the year.
Champions at the top, Masters below it, and then challengers.
Right. And
I'm not sure if challenge counts for points.
The qualification for the final event is purely based off of series points, which you get. I think if you make it to Reykjavik, you get 150, and then you get at least 100 for just making challengers finals. I think it's all super confusing, but like they should be around like top 8, top 10 in points for the region. So it's weird they would change rosters regardless.
I also don't know if they have penalties for roster changes though.
I don't know.
It's a big way that I don't know if CS has this, but Dota definitely does, where you lose like 20% of your points for every roster change, and it's decreasing based off of your current. So if you drop one player, you have 80% of your points, but then if you drop another player, you have 80% of your 80%.
Yeah, CS has that too.
Yeah.
I don't know if Valorant has that in general.
I don't know. This format has been the most confusing thing I've ever tried to wrap my head around. I really couldn't tell you.
It's hard even finding information on it. I know there is
look at the RLCS split season.
Is RLCS kind of screwed up?
Oh well, RLCS they just changed it, right?
This RLCS X season is a mess.
They had teams exit because of how bad it was, didn't they?
Yeah.
They had Cloud9 exit. They had I don't know if Dignitas exited. I know Complexity exited though.
It's a wreck. It makes no sense.
Nah, they were all just clearing room for FaZe to enter. Am I right?
Bro, shut up.
Woo,
Absolutely
the
not.
Beeps. Oh my bad.
Absolutely not.
My bad.
Oh. I remember when they got signed actually. Yeah.
Dude, that was the coolest video.
They were supposed to play against Complexity, right?
Somebody
I
the
think
next day.
I think that's right.
Yeah. they played against Complexity as the Peeps, and then when I went to go look at the match, they were
Right. Yeah.
face.
They changed
I was
the
so
face.
confused.
Dude, I'm
That'll
proud of
play.
them. Because they were playing for years before they finally got picked up. I'm proud of the boys.
I think they won. This is completely off topic. I think they won a DreamHack too. They were pretty good.
Cool. Nice.
Remember when there were dream hacks? The better days. Ooh, when do you think lands open back up? How long are you giving it?
There's supposed to be a Boston LAN in 2 months, a month.
Well, I mean, to be fair, there were some Call of Duty lands, but none of those orgs will ever get to host events again.
Nope. Activision put the hammer on them. I put the hammer on them.
I saw you put the hammer on them.
Yeah. I was like, no fucking way. The dude, actually, can I swear on this?
Yeah, you can.
Okay, cool. The dude said in the Hitbox DMs to make sure that I got my facts straight about the whole situation.
What does he mean?
Then he wanted to make sure that I had the facts.
Oh,
correct.
okay.
But one of the major things is like, hey, you weren't at this event, but he was. And he physically put on Twitter that he attended the event and that it was one of the best things in his esports.
Did he have a picture?
Of the screenshot of it, I believe
Is
so.
there a picture of him at the event?
There's a video. I'm not sure if he's in the video.
You should see if he's in the video.
So
Just send him the video back.
Yeah.
There was someone on YouTube who did like a frame by frame of the video, and they picked out 2 or 3 of the staff.
Oh my god,
That's
bro.
part of the reason that it was documented. But he physically admitted that he was at the event himself.
Damn. That's actually ridiculous. Like, I get it. It sucks to not have lands, but like, I don't know why you'd go endanger people to play an event that you can literally play from your basement.
My issue with it wasn't the actual event taking place. My issue with it was that there was no precautions made.
Fair.
They had players directly sitting next to each other. Half the players didn't have masks on. Like, that's not a way to run a tournament, even if you're going to run it during making
right.
When Riot hosted their tournament for League of Legends, they had 6 feet apart at all times. They had teams could only interact with their own team. And when the players sat down, they were still 6 feet apart and they had glass between them. And they had people coming in with cleaning between every match. That's the way to properly run the tournament.
Absolutely.
I understand from a cost perspective that it might be an issue, but if it is a cost issue, then don't run the tournament.
Mm-hmm.
Did you see a couple of colleges were running LANs to recruit players too? There was a huge one, and no one wearing masks. Everybody right next to each other. It was bad. It was probably worse than the COD one.
It depends on how the college itself treats the COVID aspect as a whole, because a lot of colleges will have players, students in general, get tested twice every week.
Well, I don't think it was a college hosting it. I think it was an organization that does high school student recruitment for colleges that ran the event. It was just like a LAN recruitment event. They brought a ton of people from a bunch of different places, and it was bad. I'm gonna see if I can look it up because it was bad.
That should have been bad. Yeah. If you're not testing everyone.
Yeah. Colleges just struggle in general. So I can't even imagine trying to host a LAN on a campus.
Well, It was at like a LAN center. There's a couple different companies that do specific like college recruitment stuff. Like there's I don't think it was them. Like Stay Plugged In does a bunch of stuff for colleges like EFU, stuff like that. I'm trying to figure out who actually hosted the event, but it was a huge event. There were a bunch of college teams there and a bunch of college coaches there, and like no one was taking any sort of precaution at all.
Yeah, that's not okay.
I don't know. It's interesting. It's definitely interesting. Do you have thoughts on the collegiate space at all? Are you familiar with
I do. I've talked to one of the bigger tournament organizers. It was the 7,000 tournament that just took place.
Mhm.
The big tournament, like it's literally named the big tournament.
Oh yeah, the Big Ten. Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah.
I got
I
to do
talked to
some
the guy
live
about
coverage for
it a little bit.
that.
I promoted, I want to say 4 other tweets. Nothing huge. I promoted the Red Bull collegiate event as well.
Oh, Campus Clutch is dope. What's the finals are where in Spain?
Yeah.
Right?
Yep. In
Nice.
Spain, I think it's 16 teams or 20 teams.
Yeah, something like that, and it's from all over the world. I'm super hyped for that. It's
Right.
gonna be cool.
That's going to be the first international LAN for Valorant, actually, which is kind of hype.
When is that?
I believe it's before the Iceland.
It's gotta be soon then. It's gonna be super soon then. It's gonna be like next week. I didn't follow Campus Clutch that closely just because it didn't really Valorant didn't really tweet about it. It was just on Red Bull's account, and I don't follow Red Bull, so like I didn't know until you liked something that got on my timeline from the Canadian team that qualified, and that's the only reason I knew. It's in 3 weeks, so it's like right after Reykjavik then.
May 15th.
3 weeks exactly.
That's what it looked like.
I mean, what?
What?
What you said?
No,
May
they
15th
said-
is not 3 weeks.
It's not 3 weeks, but that's what it looks like.
What are you talking about?
Maybe I'm looking at something different. I might be stupid.
Man said it's in 3 weeks, and you instantly said May 15th.
I'm looking at dates, bro. I'm looking at
That
what it
is
said.
4 days, not 3 weeks.
I'm on the
Yes, that's
website.
the first. This is conflicting. To get some actual
Yeah,
information
coming from my
that.
career.
No, that's when it ends. Those are the qualifiers. Taiwan qualifiers end on May 15th. I don't think
Yeah.
that's it. No, that's
Okay.
yeah,
okay.
that's when
yeah,
qualifiers.
Yeah,
The
yeah,
finals
yeah.
May 29th. It's May 29th.
Yeah,
Yes,
May 29th.
So it's right after Iceland then. Or it's the same weekend.
Okay.
Wait.
Is it?
I think it's same
Yeah,
weekend.
it's the same exact weekend.
Oh,
That's
shit.
terrible.
great.
That's terrible planning.
I'm gonna have so much esports to watch in 1 week.
Ooh, yeah, that's gonna suck. I'm gonna have to be. I do live coverage with the Spike, bro. I'm gonna be covering 5 games at once. It's gonna be a bad weekend.
Watch all these matches.
It's gonna be a terrible weekend. Overwatch League sent their NA teams to Hawaii to play the APAC teams, which was quite pog, especially with the minimum latency system. It worked really well. What? What did you just type to me? What does that mean? Against who? What is APAC?
Wait,
Am I
does
stupid?
Hawaii really
Asian
have good
Pacific.
data?
The people that are on the opposite side of the world: Australia,
Oh,
Russia,
well, they have
Japan.
They have like lines that go under the water, right?
Yeah, that's why they went over there.
That makes sense.
Oh, okay.
That actually makes sense.
They have the direct line.
Is
Okay.
Overwatch League playing online again?
Yeah,
Is Overwatch League real?
No one
No.
watches it, right? Don't they get terrible viewership still?
they had a lot of follower butting. They had
Right.
Overwatch League was open in the client, so a lot of the
Oh.
people that were watching were actually watching it.
But doesn't every league do that except for like maybe ESL?
Legal view butting.
I feel like everybody
No.
embeds though.
No, Dota didn't embed for the longest time, and the embeds for Dota aren't on the main page right now.
Interesting.
So
Well,
that's not an issue
not
there.
even like
Interesting.
in game. Don't people embed just on their website and like on Twitter and stuff like that?
Yeah.
Cause
yeah, that's illegal. Though.
is it? Is it?
You can get your channel banned from Twitch for that.
Sheesh.
Oh, I feel like there's people doing it.
You can't get banned for having a client open with it though. So there's like a gray area.
I didn't know that they finally had a ruling on it.
Karina's right too. Overwatch View is mostly China.
Gotcha.
That's why they had 3 Chinese teams. They had more American teams because it was based in America, but a majority of their outsourced teams were Chinese.
Gotcha.
Like you only had, I think it was 2 European teams in the first season. No, it was 1. It was just London.
Why is the Al New York team not New York players? Because the fact of the matter is most people who are good at Overwatch aren't from the States.
Yeah, they don't
Not sure you
have
can't
any
play pro
rules or
anymore.
regulations that like League of Legends does.
You'll also find that a lot of people that are good will travel to tryouts.
Also, a lot of people that are good will come to NA to play on a team for more money. Like half of the NA LCS guys.
Which is understandable.
No, it absolutely is. It just, I don't know. It's just, it's a weird dynamic because like you try to root for a team and they're not even from around there. Like the only exception to that rule is like CDL, which a lot of the guys are actually U.S. based guys. I think like like primarily all of them are.
Mhm.
Very, very.
There's a couple of British players, if I'm not mistaken.
I don't know.
But other than that, they're mostly United States and Canada. There was Gears of War had a big South American following, didn't they?
Gears.
Are you watching Gears of War? I'm sorry, are you watching it?
Yeah.
Really?
Have you not watched their tournaments?
No, not at all.
It's kind of lit. I'm not gonna lie, it's kind of lit.
I've seen the Pittsburgh Knights tweets about their team, and I haven't watched a single one.
Yo, that Optic team had a dynasty going.
Bro, does Gears make money? Is that a profitable
esport? Do not know.
I
know they're not watching Gears.
It cannot be profitable.
They have a good incentive program for teams, so it might be incentivized for them. I don't know how profitable it is for the actual company.
Interesting. Do you know what the viewership looks like?
No idea. Not at all.
Not good. It's Gears.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I've heard of some Gears of War pros. Like when I was getting recruited to colleges, there was this college that reached out and was like, "We have a professional player coaching our team," and I was like, "Yo, who is this?" I looked it up. I saw their gamer tag. Never heard of them before. I did like a bunch of research. I went to I think the 5th or 6th page of Google to finally find them, and they were just a Gears of War pro. I was like, "Bro, you're not a real professional." I've never heard of you.
A lot of the Apex guys when Valorant first came out, trying to find information.
No lie. Like
Fortnite was alright. Like if the player was top 100, 200 for Fortnite, you could find information on pretty easily. But finding players for Apex, even if they were top 50, was insane.
Yeah.
Like I had a cross-reference between Wikipedia and the one that's the Call of Duty one. What's the website that Call of Duty uses? Gamepedia?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I had to cross-reference between Wikipedia, Gamepedia, and the esports earnings one, just to make sure that I actually had the right player.
It's tough out here.
Great for
that was
great for orgs though. I mean, if you can get into an esport where you can't find half the players, like it's easier to make a name for yourself.
Yep, that's true.
What Knockout City look like?
Yo,
Complexity Apex. They just picked up 3 decent players and they shot to the top. They've had like 6 or 7 since then. I make a joke that every time I look in the Apex channel for Complexity, there's always a different tournament they've won.
Well, that's what it's almost like motorsports in that way. Like you can take a couple guys, give them the best equipment, and then suddenly they're winning everything because you have the actual money in the scene and you can make it happen. You know what I mean?
And that scene has a lot of non-endemic like sponsorships and viewership. Well,
right.
Especially when the pandemic hit.
Right.
When the pandemic hit, NASCAR didn't exist, so they just did eNASCAR, and half the people that were in that point were esports players.
It was lit, no lie.
That was one of the most interesting things that happened during the pandemic. Was like
Formula
the inclusion
One started
of
doing like Formula One started doing like pro-ams for their e-stuff. It was kind of cool.
Yeah, I thought that was super interesting. It's a good way to minimize costs too, because then you don't have to pay for an entire car. You just pay for the setup.
Right. Do you have opinions on non-endemic sponsorships? Like, there's a lot of
it has to be done correctly.
Okay, that's fair. Like, there's tournaments that just don't take sponsors at all. Like, Riot is just taking HyperX finally, but like,
they
if you follow
a lot more sponsors for League of Legends side. I think it's a matter of waiting and seeing which sponsors are going to actually be interested.
Fair.
Because like, if you get a sponsor and then they leave after 1 year, it's not going to look good for your organization. So you want a sponsorship that's going to be a multi-year deal.
I also think they don't want to they don't want to shape their stuff to what the sponsors want. They want the sponsors to come into what they already have, and it's
Right.
easier to do that if you don't take sponsors until you get too far in.
Like the cool thing with Overwatch League was that they had sponsors that stayed for the entire 2 or 3 years that I watched it. Like we had Omen by HP and we had Sour Patch Kids. Those are the two that I can name off the top of my head. And I know for Rocket League had Snickers for a while, right?
They have Ford right
Yep.
now.
Yeah, we have Ford now.
Nice. For Dota, there's SAP. It's a big analytical company.
Okay.
They do a ton of information for like the larger major events and international.
Didn't RL also have Rocket Mortgage for a while? Didn't they do like tip trick stuff?
Yeah, I think that's still a thing that was going on for a lot of the RLCS split.
That's a cool.
That's a dope
gimmick
sponsor
too, because it's a Rocket Mortgage and Rocket League.
right? And they would do like these tips videos. They'd have like a content creator make an ad, and it would be like in between stuff. I mean, it was easy easy tips, of course, but like it was good. It was a good integration. I liked it. It
reminded me a lot of E-League back when that was a thing.
Yep.
It was kind of like
what's the future pro lineups?
Yeah.
Do you remember back the early days of Valorant competitions? I think during First Strike, they would do the tips videos like throwing the cipher cages over the wall on Split. Do you remember that?
Yep.
It was like the Rocket Mortars tips were kind of like that. And chat would all be like, Peepo G, oh, I'm learning so much.
I hope that we get to the point where it's like actual in-depth strategy, because a lot of those CSGO like future pro things I use.
Right.
Like, yeah, they were not bad.
I'll clip it, I'll try it like 20 times, and then I'll actually use it.
I think we're getting finally into that direction, because I think as esports have evolved, the opinion has kind of changed from trying to pander esports broadcasting into just regular fans that we want to convert, and has really become we understand that the people watching esports are people who understand what the hell is happening, so let's just give it to the actual fans. Like for me, commentating, it's been a lot different now, because I can really go in depth with analysis and talk about what's actually going on, rather than being super easy to understand and easy to digest, which is a big change that I think is the industry has just gone to within the last year and a half.
I think it depends a lot on the esport itself too, because like for an esport scene like racing, you're going to be more interested in turning those viewers into gamers, right? Because a lot of those viewerships, especially during the pandemic, they probably hadn't touched a video game in 10, 20 years.
Right.
It's all these racing dudes that just watch NASCAR, which go for it. But for someone like a Dota player, I know a big issue that they tried tackling during the international was, hey, we're going to have this on ESPN. We're going to have people that have never played a video game in their life watching this. How do we make it viewable for them? League of Legends did this cool thing where they did a power play, which I think is awesome. It's when you kill the Baron, which is like the big boss in the center of the map, and you get a 2-minute window that the Baron is up on your side helping you push.
Right.
Those are just hard games to watch if you don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
That's really what it comes down to. Valorant's like that too. Especially, CS was easier. You just shoot people, throw smokes, don't die.
Smokes.
But now Valorant put in all these agents. It's harder to watch. It's hard to explain. It's hard to get new viewers, and that's the big thing that traditional sports was easy to do, and esports has to figure out how to do that.
It's the biggest gripe I had with Overwatch League when they first started doing tournaments was they didn't have a system in place that allowed for a good viewing experience. And even as someone who played the game, like I had 100, 200 hours in the game, I still had a hard time following the viewing experience from my perspective.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just hard because you want people to tune in that aren't familiar with the game. But at the same time, the people that you know for a fact are tuning in are familiar with the game. So it's a super weird balance. Also, I think as people try to, like when Rocket League went on to ESPN and was actually on television, they
Like super,
you have
though.
to,
Like you just, it's a car that hits a ball into a net. Okay.
right.
Yeah,
But
it's very
there's-
simple.
Well, okay, here, let me give you a different example then. The LCS was on ESPN in the same way. When there was nothing to show because of COVID, they just threw it on. And you have to run ads somewhere. So the place where they would always run the ads was during pick and ban and during the end of game analysis. So if you are a new fan who's watching because you're lazy, you're chilling on the couch, you aren't gonna actually understand the game because the two portions of the match where you'll actually learn something about it are covered with ads.
Yeah. If you don't have the pick ban phase, you're missing like half
Right.
of the entire experience.
Exactly.
Like the pick ban phase in Dota is my favorite part.
Right.
I feel like Smite did it well with their Battle of the Dorms, I think is what it's called. Because that's every year that is on ESPN. And I think they've gotten good about going to commercial breaks on that downtime, that weird section in the middle, that like 20 minutes, there's no team fights. You're just watching people farm.
Yeah, you're watching people farm. Exactly.
I feel like, so the way that I would integrate it is providing like a halftime, like how NFL has a halftime.
Thank you.
Did they? They have a halftime in there?
No, they don't.
Oh, okay.
Hello?
Frank
Because
corrected me. I
CS:GO
think that Smite, it was Heroes of the Storm.
Oh, he's saying that Heroes of the Storm has a Battle of the Dorm, not Smite.
Yeah, and that's Smite.
Rest in peace, Heroes of the Storm.
Rest in peace, Heroes of the Storm.
Jeez. I remember.
I think you're right. They should get a halftime.
Well, but what do you do with it
Like,
though? Where do you put it?
CS:GO, it's super easy. And
In between maps?
what's the other game? Rocket League is super easy to incorporate at halftime.
Well, you don't have to worry about it. Rocket League is 5 minutes.
Your Rocket League is
match
over
average
now.
is like
You're
match
right.
average is 7 minutes if you count overtimes.
Well, really,
Yeah.
there's already a halftime. Like, if you watch honestly, fans complain every 10 seconds about the fact that there's a 5-minute break between maps, and then there's like a 20-minute break between each series. Just put it there. Like, it's already in place.
E-League did that. E-League did everything right.
Oh,
Just
E-League
everyone
did such a
memed
good
it.
job. E-League did such a good job. I kind of miss
I
E-League.
do think so. If you're gonna have ads playing, you need to have the ads be in line with your stream and have the timer for when the stream is going to start back up still display like the time.
Yeah,
I think that's what they do. Because
I
like
think
if you're
that's
sub,
what
you
E-League
don't get
did.
the ads.
They did.
That's what's weird is E-League did everything perfectly because E-League was solely supposed to be on TBS. So if you watched it on Twitch, your ad breaks were their ad breaks on TV. They were so good about it.
Well, E-League stopped just
Didn't
because of COVID, right?
Yeah, I don't think E-League's going on right now. They also did a
I
bunch
think-
of different games.
They had management issues, as far as I know.
Oh, really?
no,
I don't know. I don't know. I
Whatever.
just know that I miss them. I miss them dearly. They did such a good job, and they had finally started to expand into more titles. They had just picked up Rocket League once CS:GO was so in depth and in tune. I don't know where.
Right.
I don't know what happened. Actually, I'd love to know.
Thanks, Blake.
Yeah, let me look
Blake
it
is wondering how long the podcast is going to last.
Literally, however long you want, it's fine.
up. It's just been an
Just
hour, y'all chill.
let us know when you're busy. When you're let us know when you need to end by. 24-hour podcast.
No, I can go another probably half hour, maybe an hour at most.
All right.
24-hour podcast, no cap.
Until we
24 hours.
run out of topics and have to end because
I'm
there's
gonna
no
go
other
to
option.
Taco Bell at some point. There's no way I'm staying here that long.
Taco Bell at some point.
Good answer.
Sure.
Always.
I respect that actually.
I respect that too.
Look it up. What happened to E-League?
I'm
I actually
looking
want to
at
know
it.
what happened to E-League.
E-League just did FIFA 21.
Yeah, but no
They
one
just got
cares
done.
about that.
No one did care, but they
one
just got
cares
done.
about FIFA.
E-League had RLCSX earlier this month. They did a Magic the Gathering tournament, MTG
Oh, so
Arena.
they've been running stuff?
They've been
Oh,
running
shit.
stuff. They
I
did
heard
a
about
Sims tournament? What the hell is this?
No, dude.
What is
Okay.
a Sims tournament? How do you do that?
They took content. I actually know about this. They took content creators that honestly no one's ever heard of, and
You're
they were
right. They
doing
do.
like challenges with The Sims. And I think it was because they were running out of money and they needed to do something to get people to watch them.
No, bro, this looks lit.
No, it
I
I want to
just
do Sims tournaments.
I looked up CS:GO for E-League, and it brought me to E-League Season 2 teams.
Who you got? Who you got?
So Cloud9 in there.
Oh
We got Echo Fox.
no, no!
What a good time that was.
Not Echo Fox,
My lord.
Immortals.
Immortals.
bro.
I was kind of pulling for Immortals for a while.
weren't that bad.
Immortals,
were decent.
Optic.
Oh my
SK
god, Optic
Gaming.
had a CS team. I totally forgot. Well, what SK went to MIBR and now they're just gone. This is
Yeah.
so sad. Half of these players don't even play anymore. Like the whole Cloud9 roster is playing Valorant.
That's always how esports goes. It's funny to look back on it. People really
the
be switching
entire-
games.
Dude, that's actually the problem. The problem is that there's no you don't get teams
Longevity.
sticking around. Yeah, thank you so much. You don't get teams sticking around long enough to actually build a fan base on. You only build fan bases on players, so it's impossible to have an org and make it profitable because your roster's just gone every time.
I don't think E-League ended because of COVID. I think it ended before COVID.
I don't know. I literally don't know. I just know
They're
I want it
They're
back.
still a thing. They haven't ended.
No, their last CS:GO event was 2019 January.
They've been really consistent about switching games.
Don't
They
you also
started with
have to have a
CS
major?
and they did CS for, and then they had one season of
But
like
they're just kind of going
Street
through
Fighter.
different games.
Yeah.
Well,
That makes sense.
don't you all? Well, I think they understood. Okay, so when did Flashpoint?
Like, I hate you, bro.
When did Flashpoint and what's the other one? Pop Flash get announced? Or what do they call it? What is it called? What's the other one? Blast Premiere? When did Blast Premiere and Flashpoint get announced? Because I think they realized
Late 2020, wasn't it? No,
I
it was
don't know.
early 2020. It was right before the pandemic.
I think maybe they realized that if they're trying to dominate the CS scene in NA, and then these two other leagues are
Because NA
coming
wanna
out,
make you
there's
shut
just
up.
no way they're going to be able to do it. So maybe they pulled out to a different game to try to have more control over something else.
I'm fairly sure that they ended prematurely before that the other two leagues got announced.
Damn. Well, then maybe they just gave up.
They switched games. They got
Yeah,
they got
I think they switched to pull viewership from a different.
yeah. They got an ROCS
Sport.
partnership. It's easier to watch. That's what I feel like. That's what it was. They put on TBS. They put a game that was easier to watch.
It's not even just that the fact that it's easier to watch; it's easier to get sponsorships for it.
Right.
A large issue with CS:GO right now is trying to find sponsors that are okay with the whole blood and
Right.
terrorist kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
What college did I go to? I went to Springfield Technical Community College for a year.
To do what? What'd you study?
I did my pre-ex. I didn't actually do my study that I was supposed to. It was supposed to be computer systems engineering. A major issue I had with it was I went to a vocational school, so roughly 70 to 80% of the classes that I would have taken, I would have just been bored in.
Fair.
I like learning.
This man's gonna be the prime example of why you don't need a degree to succeed in this industry.
Big facts. Big facts.
Vocational school is a huge reason to not have a degree. Yeah, you go to vocational school, you get certificates instead. You're set.
Yep. On God. This man knows.
That's the route that I wish I
He
took.
said, "This man knows."
Bro, I'm only in college just because it's not really costing me anything, and then I'm using all my Mr. Catnator CEO. Man, what college do you go to? I go to Missouri Baptist University. I'm studying broadcast media purely to learn how to use cameras better. Yup.
Wait,
Yo,
Oh,
you're
you're
legit.
colleges right now?
What you're doing. That's epic.
Yeah, no, I'm super hyped about it. We'll see how it goes. Like the degree program is super non-work heavy. Oh my god, I need to literally get a thesaurus instantly. My vocab isn't so bad.
Thesaurus.com, baby.
I'm doing.
Let me open it up. Tell me which words you need to sis. I'll get you.
Do you use a lot of the information that you learned from school as you're doing this broadcast?
This podcast not specifically. So a lot of the later stuff for my degree sheet is like live production and broadcasting. A lot of the stuff I use for production management and stuff like that is entirely stuff I've learned from doing freelance work in the industry. Which is what I was gonna say. A lot of my degree sheet is super light. There's not a ton of work to do, so I use that time. I fill it with whatever internships I can find, whatever opportunities I can make for myself, and then I learn that way. Like, I don't think I really need the degree, but it's cool. I get to learn how to like light things better, which has been nice. Like we're making a documentary for my my college Rocket League team, and it's been actually super useful to know like camera angles and stuff like that.
They won one tournament.
Yeah, we beat your school, man. Isn't that
Shut
crazy?
up. Yeah, they beat me. You beat me twice.
You.
I don't care.
We beat you,
I don't care. They can fight me. You can really fight me about that. It's NECC. What do you need a documentary for?
We beat you. Isn't that wild?
Shut up. You can literally fight me.
Sounds like you're just a little upset.
I am.
I do completely underestimate the ability for good lighting to have an effect on a stream.
Exactly.
Like even just my stream, I feel bad not having a light coming down on me.
Like my lights, my backlight's really good. My key and my fill are really bad because I have a key and no fill. So there's just a massive shadow here. So I need to buy lights, but I'm too lazy. But like I have a Logitech C920, a $60 webcam. It doesn't look like a $60 webcam because I light it pretty decently. And my lighting's not even good. That's the difference that it makes. It's good skills to know. He goes to Central Methodist. If you look him up, they lose a lot of esports games.
And we shut up. We don't lose a lot of esports games. All right.
Relevant for this, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm angry. I go to Central Methodist. I'm a music major.
Oh.
And we do not lose all of our esports games.
Can you not do that to the mic? I have to cut
Last
that
season
out.
we won NECC. We just lost this time.
You won? Damn. Well, the league was in a bad place last year, wasn't it?
You can fight me. You really can fight me.
The league was in a rough spot last year.
Shut up. Not make sure not to go to Central Methodist. It's a good college, y'all. It's a good college. Just because we lost one Rocket League game.
Blink wants to know when I can take him to a LAN event. The LAN event in Boston, I am supposed to go to.
What is it?
It's only like a 3-hour drive. It's a high school event.
A high school event.
Yeah.
You scouting people?
Yeah. What are you doing there?
I don't need an event to scout people. I'm doing it just to meet people and have fun.
Have fun, dude. I'm actually ready to, as soon as LAN's open, to just drive to everything. Like literally everything. I just want to hang out.
You're just gonna do a road trip all the way across the country.
I'm not even trolling. I will go to
to
every city. I will go everywhere. I do not care.
That's right.
I literally do not care. I will go anywhere. I just want to hang out.
I'm really interested on how travel is going to be impacted after COVID restrictions are taken out.
Well,
because I feel like not as many people are going to be open to traveling still.
I think it's a strict group of people because there are like 50% of people who have been super serious about it. Like bring all of your groceries in, put them in the sink and wash them just to guarantee that it's safe. And then the other half of people are like, what's COVID? There is no COVID in the first place. So I think for some people, they'll just go back to how life was because they never stopped in the first place. And then the other half of people are going to be like weird about it. Like I think we'll have masks after COVID is done because some people will just want to wear them.
Yeah, I feel like at least 30% of the population is going to continue wearing masks for the next 2 years.
I agree with that.
It's a matter of how quickly it's going to phase out. A lot of the touchless and the mobile applications, like paying without having to touch anything or paying and having it dropped to your house instead
Walmart
of going.
Pay?
Yeah, Walmart Pay. Having your groceries brought out directly to you instead of having to go into the store, that kind of stuff.
Right. It's convenient.
Definitely,
I'm not going to complain about that.
It's weird to say that COVID helped in a way, but it definitely improved the United States' ability to technologically advance.
Yeah, and also like
it kind of gave us the kick in our ass.
Absolutely, and it also exploited a lot of stuff that we could have just been doing better. Like the stimmies really showed us that we have the money to help people. There's a bunch of people working from home after their companies literally told them they couldn't do it, and it was obvious that they could, and they finally have shed some light on the fact that it's totally doable, and companies now will let you work from home because people are getting more done and are actually a lot happier doing it. Also, we haven't got sick anymore. With masks, we haven't been getting like common colds either.
Facts.
Yep.
It also exploited, or it shined a light on exploitation practices of big businesses. People getting more from their unemployment than they were at work.
No lie. And that's still a thing. There's still people who won't go back to work because they're getting more money and they don't want to go back to those jobs. So hopefully that since people still will not go back to work and a bunch of large corporations are understaffed, they will raise their wages so people will go back to work. Hopefully.
I hate to be negative, but a lot of red states have already pulled out of the federal $300 bonus. So
sick. Well, you know what they say, old habits don't die easy.
They do not.
I get some smaller businesses that are going to do bonuses up front, but they probably won't change their pay rates.
Probably right. It's unfortunate, but it's what we live in, I guess.
When people say that the minimum wage shouldn't be higher than teachers' wages, they really don't think that teachers should get paid more. It's a lot of stuff. It's a lot of stuff that just isn't right, and that hasn't been right for a while.
Yeah. I mean, teachers said raise salaries are a whole nother thing. You shouldn't be making $40,000 a year or less, even, to teach children.
There's a big difference between college pay and high school pay as well.
Yeah,
for sure.
Colleges make a ton of money as opposed to a teacher in high school. I actually, so one of the things that I did because I went to a vocational school was I failed it was one of my big exams in my computer systems, like during high school. And the way that my teacher structured it was, okay, if you're failing this class, instead of having you get held back for one class, I'm just going to have you go to the night class over at the college.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I did college classes during high school to make sure that I didn't fail my grade.
It's kind of goofy.
And I learned at it too. It was the thing that I failed was my final exam for networking, and he had me do a college class that was programming in Linux.
Mm-hmm.
So it wasn't the exact same path, like towards learning, but I still learned something in information technology.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, big lit. Big shout outs to teachers.
Big shout outs to teachers. Why did you say that?
Just saying. Big shout outs. Can we get our teacher in the chat?
Yo, if you're a teacher in the chat, can you please Pepe hands?
Get some Pepe hands for the teachers.
Please and thank you.
Oh man.
I'd cut that all out. I'd cut all that out now.
I took a quiz when I was in middle school, and one of the things that it told me was, hey, you would actually be a really good vocational school teacher. That was like my first introduction to what vocational school was.
You're set. You're all good to go.
The goat, Loki. Did you ask her for a reference?
Yeah.
Did you ask for a reference?
No.
Oh, you threw.
Rough.
Yeah.
Hey, Betrayed.
What's up, Betrayed?
Betrayed, I'm going to be honest. I get you mixed up a lot with another kid that has a similar name.
Your name is
I forget what his actual name.
Non-unique. I'm not going to cap you. You have thoughts on that? You have thoughts on usernames based on player successes? No, this is no. Hear me out. Serious question. Do you think that having a unique username makes you more viable as a player? Like if your name is just okay. Actually, hold on. I won't give you an example. Just what are your thoughts on that? Does that make sense?
There is a big difference between someone named KittyCannon69 and someone named OxiWun.
Yeah, exactly.
Those are both my names.
Look, my name is cringe. Catnator's a cringe username, but there are no other Catnators on the planet. So
there's no Catnator.
You know
so
me.
You're not gonna get mixed up.
Yeah, exactly. Right. There's a million. There's 1,000,006, man. So Sick has to be like almost twice as good as he is to be recognizable.
if you know that someone has a very similar name or that they have the exact same name as you need to look at it as a brand risk. Because if they do something wrong, then it's going to affect you.
Right.
I know. Are you familiar with the person that was pretending to be an underage 13-year-old girl?
No.
Which one?
What?
Okay. Oof.
Being honest.
There was a Valorant semi-pro. Blank knows what I'm talking
Lil
about.
Yu
His name was
_Valorant.
his name that he was using was Lily. He was pretending to be a 13-year-old who had extreme home issues, and then it came out that he was a 20-year-old male.
Jesus.
His name was Minty.
Jesus
So
Christ.
when he got exposed, there's a friend of mine named Mintamins, and they kept getting mixed up.
Damn.
Like, it's a running joke now. Hey, Minty, how's it going?
Oh.
No, not like this.
Oh. That's so awkward because it's not
So,
even
if
like
you run
his
into
fault.
something like that, you got to make sure that you're name changing and improving your brand.
Interesting. Do you have words of advice for improving your brand as a player?
I can actually drop a link in chat. There's a
Oh.
tool that I used called Name Checker, and that's how I came up with my brand.
I'll be rebranding to New Weeksa. The hell?
Here, I'm going to throw it in chat for you guys. That is the website that I used to make sure that the OxiWun name wasn't taken anywhere.
Smart. That's actually super smart.
That is smart.
Fun fact. I actually had OxiWun without the underscore on Twitter. The original account may have gotten banned because of something I said about Trump.
Bro, you fumbled the bag so hard. Now you're gonna have to get partnered in order to change it back.
Yeah.
It's
Dude,
funny for
that's
me
so
because
goofy.
I have most of these. I typed in my username. I have most of these. I just think it's funny.
Yeah, but have you looked at YouTube? Your YouTube game is trash. There's a bunch of
I
there's a bunch of
don't
other
use
looks on
YouTube anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, but what if you start releasing music on YouTube? You know what I mean?
YouTube is huge, bro.
I have a Spotify. That's all I need. Follow me
I have
Mochalove
a
on
YouTube
Spotify.
channel.
Go ahead and check out the spot.
God, man.
How do you monetize
Sorry.
Spotify? You can't.
How to plug. You make enough money, they pay you. That's it.
Oh, wait, you're a music creator, right? So that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just gotta make
Okay,
money.
so you put your own music on there.
Oh, you
I
thought I
know,
was
that's
just
normal
making
music.
playlists and trying to monetize it?
Yeah. Go check out my
selling-
playlist.
Professional
Yeah, I'm selling a
playlist
Spotify
curator.
playlist.
Support me on Patreon. I'm trying to make this a career.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, you have a Patreon, don't you?
I
Not
have
you.
one.
I don't care if you
They
have one.
shut it
Yeah, I do.
down because of some kind of conflict with their payments and stuff like that. It's super weird.
Interesting.
And then I got an email from them, and all of the stuff that I have to send them is like 6 or 7 different things, and I can only send it in a file format. I can't send it like links. So I would physically have to take a picture, or I'd have to send the link in a Google Doc or a file or somehow.
And if you don't, you can't use your account or what?
Yeah, I have.
Wait, are you still getting like people supporting? Like, do you have supporters that you just can't get the money from?
Yeah,
Dude, what?
I'm working on it. It's whatever. We're
That's so weird. That reminds me of do you know Polar Ace GG? You know that
Mhm.
org? That reminds me of their COO who was trying to get their Battlefield account to run an event, and they wouldn't give it to her, and she was like tweeting at them and sending them different emails showing that it was her, and they just wouldn't give the account over. They like support messaged and was like, we don't just hand accounts over. You're gonna have to provide us way more information than that. It's like, bro.
I know Valve is pretty good about that. Like if you have your account hacked or something,
Oh no,
their
absolutely.
supports.
They also have more security than like my bank account does.
Sure.
My bank account is just a password to get into.
What the
Yeah.
bank?
You have
Oh
there's
my
like 4
God.
steps to get in. I'm serious.
You need to get a new bank account, but it sounds like
No, my bank account. I shared my card information with a friend to let her use it for Valorant skins one time. She accidentally didn't take the card off, and she was using it personally.
Oh,
accidentally.
that was an accident.
But she paid me back. But my So she lives 5 states over, completely different section of the world. And I never ordered takeout like to my house. I would always go and pick it up.
Uh-huh.
And she was using Uber and DoorDash constantly.
And they didn't send any
I
alerts?
was just like, whatever.
Bro.
They don't care.
I'm like, kidding me?
That's so whack.
The one time that you're supposed to actually tell me, hey, there's someone using your card a couple of states away from you. I don't know or not, but you should at least know it. Nah.
That's
Nothing.
that is actually so goofy.
Mm-hmm.
What are your I know you want to work with an org. Is that what you plan to do just forever in the scene? Do you want to just help with talent, or do you have bigger goals than that?
No, that's really all I want to do, honestly. Maybe like a GM would be my highest role that I would want.
Word. Hey, GMs be making money, bro.
You've been making dollars.
GMs you actually be rolling.
Nah, I don't really care about that.
Oh, why? I can tell. Man's made $800 from the spreadsheet.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's funny. That's actually funny.
Big man, you gotta get that bag.
A big reason for me having the monetization of the spreadsheet wasn't because I wanted money. It was because I wanted to show that like it was worth the cost.
Right.
If you understand. Because if you're putting out free content, there's a very low chance that people are going to be interested in viewing it.
Right.
But if you say, hey, I have this product that I'm making for $10, go check it out, you're at least going to get some people who are interested.
Right. And it like kind of calls the people looking at it. Like, you know that the people checking the info are actually going to be serious about it, or at least somewhat serious about it.
Yeah. Do you know who Devin Nash is?
Devin Nash?
No. Yeah.
Yeah. Dude,
Okay.
Devin Nash, oh my God. Like a
He
year
doesn't,
ago,
so
he
I'm
had
going to
the
explain
worst
who Devin
take,
Nash is.
but this
You know who
thing-
Counter Logic Gaming are, right? Okay, he was one of the original founders and owners.
Okay.
When they sold the Madison Square Garden, he made a talent agency, and he ran that talent agency for 4 years. The structure was bad, so he made a new talent agency called Novo, and that's what he's working on currently.
He also has like YouTube content. He has like he makes a bunch of YouTube videos on like stuff going around in the scene.
He's huge for like esports marketing and stuff. If you want to learn how to monetize properly, that's the guy to watch.
I'll be over there. I'll be over there pretty often. I won't lie to you.
Yeah.
So you want to do that? Like you want to expand into like an agency of your own, or work for one?
Yeah, I would either want to work for an agency or work for a team that didn't limit my interactivity with other teams. It's going to be hard to find, but I know there's a guy who worked for Complexity who helped the scene in other areas while he was still on Complexity before transferring out, and that would be kind of cool to like help the scene, even though I'm under an org. I know there's a Dignitas girl that does it. Emily, does it? She does a lot of casting and tournament hosting and stuff. And she's still signed
she's
to
the head
the
of
team.
Partnerships, right? Or something like that. Yeah.
And she does a lot for the female scene too, like helping players get noticed.
Sure.
Like I feel like I would be a good role fit for that kind of thing.
We're
so maybe a
doing
content creator,
that, though, just for free. Because you're already kind of doing that though, right?
Yeah.
Huh.
I'm doing the personal aspect of it, but the issue is getting signed to a team at the same time.
Right. Is the issue like teams reaching out, or is the issue like reaching an agreement that allows you to still do what you want to do with said team?
A little bit of both, honestly.
Okay.
I've talked to 2 or 3 teams about working with them. Most have just fallen through. Like I try to follow up and they don't message back.
You're getting ghosted?
I'm getting ghosted.
Shotty's getting hard ghosted by orgs, man. This is crazy.
It's people that I talk to on regular too. It's just that specific topic they never respond to.
Oh, I got you. Interesting. That's so. I don't know. I don't know what to suggest with that. That seems like a really hard balance, because you just provide. Okay, so I know a lot of managers personally or I follow a lot of managers, and a lot of them can't provide the value that you already provide for free. I think that is your hang up, is that orgs know that you're going to give way more valuable information that they currently have access to everyone else too. So I think it's hard for them to exclusively want to work with you because of the information you can provide.
It's the thing, though. I can provide the information to everyone else, so why wouldn't I be able to provide them a more in-depth analysis of the information that I provide to everyone else?
Have you considered writing up some examples of how much more in depth you can get, and then showing that to orgs?
Yeah. That's one of the things that I was working on before I got this offer from the organization that I might be signing with.
Gotcha. Okay.
I had a resume that I was making, and on top of that, I had run it back, the people that we talked about before. I had subscribed to their analytics system, and I was using the analytics system to create player in-depth analysis.
Okay, I got you.
Just to like prove that I could do it.
Fair. Okay. If you need to do like, I was talking before, if you need to do write-ups and stuff like that, just DM me, because I'm willing to help.
Yeah, but long form stuff. I really
like
don't
what you're doing, and I'm willing to help if you need it.
All right, thank you.
Guys, should I name my high school team Never Kissed a Girl? It's funny, right? All right, blink, man.
What?
Listen, I'm gonna turn the slow mode on, so you have to think about what you type before you type it. No, stop.
Not like this. Not like this. Damn, that's unfortunate.
So, one thing I really wanted to hit up. Oh my god, hello, hit up. One thing I really wanted to hit on is the fact you're always on Twitter. You're always beefing with somebody. Almost every day you're beefing with somebody different. What are your biggest pet peeves in the scene? What do you hate seeing on Twitter?
I don't like beefing with people in general, to be honest. I'm not very conflictual person. I mainly do it to help the scene out. My biggest pet peeves personally are probably the fact that teams only last 2 weeks. Like every time that I see a team that's come within 2 weeks, they're gone. I'm like, of course, now we got another one.
Right.
Like I like helping players find teams, but them only being on the team for 2 weeks is kind of useless.
Right. You want them to be stable.
Right.
Do you think that comes from smaller orgs then? Like
not just smaller orgs, like what they provide matters more than how large they are.
Okay, and what do you think players need?
Players need a good coach, a good manager, and honestly, it's more on the player side too. Like if the player is not willing to put in the time and get used to the play style of their teammates, they're not going to accomplish anything.
So it's like the lack of commitment in the free agent space.
Yeah, it's a little bit of staffing and a little bit of lack of commitment.
Fair. I don't know. That's literally. I think that's my biggest pet peeve too in the free agent space right now. Is I think there's a lot of good talent out there that there's almost so much talent and so little stability that players will just do whatever they want, and I think it ends up taking like very minuscule arguments between players and turning it into something much bigger, and then splitting up rosters. The whole Fortnite space had the same problem with the fact that you can play with whoever you want. Like right now, they're doing just trios for the entire season, so any 3 players can play together. But there's no like ruling for it except for like that event. So if you play the first weekend and you qualify for the next weekend, then you play with the same trio. But for the event next month, you can then play with whoever you want. So like, if you have a little bit of a disagreement, right? It literally the community calls it snaking. So like when you take one player from a duo and you take them away, you snake them, and then you have to go and find other players, and then that shifts up another trio, and then suddenly the entire community is playing with different people for the next event. I don't know. It's just I feel like that same exact issue is in Valorant because there's are so many options and there's really no rules to it unless you're under a contract.
Yeah, there's a lot of these things like the pug teams too. Like you get players that are playing on signed teams and they'll just play in VCS together
Right.
because they can.
Right.
Whether they do it for fun or they do it for the money, either way, they're still not going to last forever. It's a double-edged sword because if they perform well, like if the unsigned player on the team does well with that cohesive 5-man stack of mixed players, it's good for that one person. But if they bomb out, it's like, what did they learn from that?
Right.
The player who doesn't have a team still doesn't have a team.
Right.
They didn't get to show that they're actually worth anything because they're playing with a team who has no cohesion whatsoever. And the players that are playing, honestly, it's bad for the players who are already playing on a team because it's going to be like a tournament that they place poorly in.
I also
That's really risky.
I also think it's partially the way orgs are approaching the game right now. I think the orgs that will actually go through you and will do the work trialing people are a different story, of course. Like the version 1 team actually did the work. They actually trialed their players. They actually built a cohesive roster, and then they gave them the time to grow. Like version 1 was really nothing around the First Strike era, and then finally now they're headed to Iceland because they took the time to let the roster develop. I think most teams have just gone in, picked up 5 players that looked good, and hope for the best, and that's been really rough for the whole scene in general. Like, there's some free agent teams that have been consistently placing really, really well, that if they could just get the resources and a good manager and coach under them, would be killing it. Like, I think the Boogerman will be killing it. I think Elmer's Glue will be killing it, but no one will give them the resources to do so.
I don't know if he's still on Boogerman, but do you know who Lear is?
Yes.
So apparently he plays from Hawaii.
For real? So his ping is
on a lip
is bad.
Yeah, his ping is like 100, and he's still fragging out.
That's
like players like that. If you brought them over to the United States, or if you just improved their setup overall, they would shit stomp.
Absolutely, absolutely.
If you can find players like that, and I know a few of them, you should just pick them up and give them a better setup.
Right. I just think teams won't take the time to do the research because the scene is still so small that it's almost like an org looks at it as like almost a cash grab. Like run in, win some events, and then that's what it
is. Blink asked me when I'm making my own team.
Oh my god, the Oxy team would pop off.
It would.
You don't need to make your team.
You got the spreadsheet. You're winning.
You just need an org to get behind you so you can actually run it up. Which sounds like you're in the process.
Yeah, we're supposed to pick up a coach this week, and then next week we'll start trials. I'm most likely going to be reaching out to players myself, though. It won't be the other way around.
No, that's good. That's better that way. I think it's better that way. It's actually really hype.
Blink was a part of my team for 2 minutes.
Yeah, 2 minutes too long. Am I right?
Damn, the stuff.
That's rough.
I'm excited to see what you do, and I really am interested to see what the process of taking your own brand with Hitbox and still being able to benefit the community in such a massive way will look like. Also helping an org. I'm very interested to see. I hope it works out for you. It's been an hour 40, so I'll let you go. I don't want to take up more of your time, but it is a tradition here on the pod on Safety to Shore that we have our guests do the outro. So before we get into that, OxiWun, where can people find you?
They can find me at OxiWun_ on Twitter. They can find me at Hitbox_Heroes or Hyros, however you want to say it. I believe it's Hyros. I think that I'm botching.
I like Hyros. I've been saying Hyros, so if you just say that, then we're chilling.
Doing a little bit of gentrification there.
My bad.
My Discord is OxiWun with an O and an W capitalized, #1361. And if you really want to play with a bronze player in Valorant, my Valorant name is OxiWun, #NA1.
Right,
not the bronze.
Not the bronze.
Our guest, Mochalove came on for the one time.
What's up?
Where can people find you? I might throw him on again because he's actually a better host. Where can people find you?
What's up?
Where can people find you, man?
You can get two co-hosts too.
You can find me at Mocha_Lovin with a U instead of an O on Twitter. You can find me at Mochalove also on Instagram, but that's an O again. You can find me on Spotify, Mochalove. Peep the songs, peep the rep. You know how we going. We had a Christmas album that came out a while ago. You should listen to that. Get you in the spirit.
Get you in the spirit. Yeah. It's summer.
That's it.
All right, and with that, OxiWun's gonna take away with the outro. Catch the pod on every single podcasting platform after this week. Who is it? Pandora finally approved it, so we're everywhere. You catch it wherever. Literally, just look up Safely to Shore. It'll come up. I made sure the SEO was goated like that. No one else has a name even similar. So we are chilling. And then catch us on the Lighthouse Esports YouTube as well. Go ahead, OxiWun, take it away. Close out for the show.
Man, I have no idea how to do it.
No, you got this. You got this 100%.
I definitely check out these guys on YouTube. I'm sure they got a link down there somewhere on the Twitch. I'll be on hopefully later if you guys want to invite me over again sometime. Longest podcast yet? Is it the longest podcast?
Yeah, this is the longest podcast. I think the shy one was an hour 30.
Longer the better, baby.
We get longer every week.
Good, I broke a record here. All right, maybe you guys will invite me over to Break My Records. I'll see you guys sometime soon. Right?
Yeah, maybe we can update when this org deal goes through, because it will. God, it will.
Definitely.
All right.
Yeah, we can do another podcast after I get signed.
Sounds good. We'll catch you soon. I'm Katney. That's Mochalove. Thank you so much for coming on. We will catch you guys in the next 2 weeks. 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 Next 2 weeks.